Little milder today.
You're such an optimist. Holy moly.
We are live now, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. To everybody, welcome and Happy New Year. Holy moly. 2022, who'd have thought that would be this cold? Oh, well. Welcome, and I call the meeting to order at 9:56 on Wednesday, January the 12th, 2022. Order disclosures of interest and general nature thereof, pecuniary interest. Any declarations? Not seeing any, not hearing any. We'll move on. Adoption of previous minutes, October the 20th and November the 10th. People have had an opportunity to read them. Any questions of the minutes? Any business arising from the minutes? We'll take them as two separate approvals. First one is adoption of the minutes of October 20th, 2021. A mover, please. Michelle, thank you. Seconder? I'll second. Call for the vote. Catherine?
Deputy Warden Marks.
Yes.
Michelle. Doug Mayer.
Yes.
3-0, the motion is carried.
Thank you. Moving to the minutes of November the 10th, 2021.
Happy to move.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Seconder?
I'll second.
Michelle? Catherine, if we could call for the vote, please.
Deputy Warden Marks.
Yes.
Michelle Horton. Doug Mayer.
Yes.
Michelle Horton.
You're on mute, Michelle.
Sorry, yes.
3-0, the motion is carried.
Thank you very much. We have no delegations for today's meeting. I'm reading. Any changes to that notation? No delegations, then we'll move on to new business. Important first item, our Jack membership update. In terms of reference and new members, I reviewed in the minutes from November discussion that was had on outreach and identification of other sources for membership. I just want to ask a question of our current membership. I know that Harry has resigned. Is Arn, Sarah, do you know if Arn is still on our membership list?
So that's kind of tricky because I believe so, but I haven't really been able to make consistent contact with him. And so I have tried emailing him and one time did get a response, but then when he said he was going to show up, he didn't end up coming to the meeting. So I'm not really sure if, like, I don't at this point in time know another method of getting a hold of him. If anybody does, please let me know. But unfortunately, because I can't reach him directly, I have no way to really figure out whether or not he's still considers himself part of the committee or if he's just not getting my emails. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. As I noticed, not on today's list on the morning email you sent out. In terms of reference, Sarah, you have something you can share with us on that?
I do, yes. So I'm just going to share my screen if that's okay with everyone. I apologize. There will probably be cats that may interrupt the meeting occasionally. One of them likes to go behind the computer every time I try to have a meeting. All right, so let me just make this full screen and then everyone can let me know. Can everyone see the PowerPoint fine?
Thank you. I can.
Perfect. Okay, so all right, so terms of reference. I kind of put them in the wrong orders technically, but that's okay. They'll still make sense ultimately when we talk about them. And so for the terms of reference, there is a potential that local municipal partners will be joining the JAAC, as we had discussed at one point. So as a result, we will have to review the terms of reference and update those so that it aligns with the changes. So council approved amending the terms in accordance with the bylaw so that we can allow for electronic voting. Fortunately, because the bylaw was in place, we were always able to do that, but that will be something that will change in the new updated term. Consultation regarding the terms will include the deputy clerk, CAO, HR director, myself, and the local municipal partners. And then changes to the terms of reference will then be brought to the JAAC to review and give feedback on before we take it to council. So you will be included obviously in the process, and basically I'll just keep you updated and then bring to the next meeting the changes that we're recommending to the terms. So that's more or less everything on that. I think the more pressing item probably will be regarding the new memberships. So it's okay.
Sarah,
I'm just gonna...
before we move on, may I ask
Yeah, absolutely.
two questions? One is, what's the time frame for the development of the new terms of reference?
That's a good question. So I think typically, because we do try to do meetings quarterly, my goal would be to then bring it to the next meeting. However, if we feel like we would like to see the terms get updated sooner than that, I can see how the progress goes with regards to having the LMPs join. The actual joining of the local municipal partners, if in the event that it's approved and everything goes as planned, probably would not be until the fall. Only because that's when the new council will be elected, the committee will be disbanded, and then we will have people reapply and basically create a new committee with the local partners that are interested in joining, being part of it. So I think that's kind of the two timeframes, if that makes sense. But I think my goal is to have the terms ready for the next meeting, so early quarter two.
Thank you very much. And you've answered my second question, which is when the terms of timing for the next municipal election. So
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
And to completely change everything now. So I will go to the next slide because it kind of touches on that as well. So we did create a thank you letter for Harry Murr, and that was sent to him. And then we've also discussed the idea of new membership. I did have a meeting with the CAO, deputy clerk, and HR director. So we did discuss this idea, and we concluded that we will recruit a new member to replace Harry for the interim. So we are actually going to be looking for one more member to come onto the committee between now and when it gets disbanded. So in terms of that, I believe Catherine and I are going to work on putting together an application and then basically just start advertising and see if we can get somebody on the committee. If anyone has anyone in mind, please let us know. That's always helpful. So that is one thing we're going to be doing. The next thing is, as I just mentioned, a reminder that the committee of councils are disbanded when the new council is formed. So that'll be around October, November. And then members who are interested in joining will be asked to apply in November, December timeframe because they won't start on the committee until January 2023. And then current JAAC members, of course, can apply again if you would like to rejoin. So definitely give that some thought. I'll send out some reminders about that consistently throughout the year to let you know when the new applications will come out so that you can decide whether or not you'd like to be part of the committee again.
Thank you.
And then the local municipal partners, I did talk to them already. At least 3 are interested. The Township of Southwold, Town of Elmer, and Municipality of West Elgin have voiced interest in the committee. So they will be discussing that with the CAO at their next meeting. Julie's going to bring that to them. We concluded that it would be good to have them join. Members can come from anywhere in the county. And there's also an idea that we may rotate the different municipalities that are interested in having a representative. However, Central Elgin will always have a permanent member on the committee because of the legal requirements to be on this committee. All members will be voting members, and we still must ensure that the majority are persons with disabilities per the legislative requirements. So that's actually it on new membership. Does anybody have any questions about what we're going to be doing going forward?
I'm good, thank you.
No, nobody? Everything's good? Okay. I will move on to the next part of the agenda then, if that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so accessibility compliance report update. Sorry, I didn't realize that was in the way. I just wanted to update everybody quickly that the accessibility compliance reports were all completed by Elgin County and their local municipal partners by the deadline, which is awesome. There has been one desk audit completed so far since submitting all the reports. I'm not sure if we will see more, but I will keep everyone updated on that and the outcomes. Several local municipal partners did report compliance with question 14 on web accessibility. That was the biggest topic of debate for the entire year, I think pretty much for all municipalities. The next compliance reporting period won't be until 2023. And I have heard some brief information, but I can't really say for sure at this point in time. There may be new compliance reporting requirements under the Accessible Canada Act. So I will provide more information on that once I hear about it, but I think that one is going to be more slowly developed because the act is quite new still. That was a federal requirement. So the one that we completed this past year was Ontario provincial, and the Accessible Canada Act would be a federal. So they would probably differ in some areas, but yeah, I will definitely bring information to the committee in the event that we are required to do new compliance reporting. That's everything for this. Is there any questions about this?
No, thank you.
Great, perfect. Okay. Consultation requirements with the JAAC. So this is something that kind of came up, especially in Middlesex, because Middlesex currently has all of its local municipal partners on the committee, though they don't necessarily have a rep for every single municipality, but they do allow it so people can join, and we can have more people on the committee if they would like. There are a couple that have to be on it, but there are some that don't, and they have decided to join anyways. So currently we have a few consultation guides that were created, I believe, when not Sam, but the accessibility coordinator before him was in. I think her name was Jen. I hope I got that right. So there's the accessible on-street parking standard, the accessible playground consultation document, and recreational trails consultation document and guidelines. So the documents do a really good job at breaking down the AODA and IASR requirements. I believe the committee was involved in the creation of it, so I'm sure some of you may be familiar with it. However, they don't make it overly clear when the committee needs to be consulted. So currently, as we only have 2 members on the committee, County of Elgin and Municipality of Central Elgin, they do have to consult the JAAC, but other local municipal partners at this point in time do not. They only have to consult the public and people with disabilities. These are some of the examples of what we're expected to consult on. I did want to put this in the slideshow. I will also send the slideshow to everybody after, so you can take a look at this slide if you'd like more closely then. So I'm just going to go to the next one, but I will send this out in case you wanted to look it over. So in Middlesex County, we kind of ran into an issue where I was talking with Marcy, who is a clerk and also my boss at that county, and we were finding that the consultation guides may not be enough to cover the full depth of consultation. So we had determined that it's going to be put forward and recommended that local municipal partners send accessibility projects to me, the accessibility coordinator, and then together determine whether or not it should go to the committee to be consulted on. Consultation, if it's required for every project, we may run into the issue where it slows down the process and creates an extensive amount of work for the local municipal partners and the committee, which is not really what we're trying to do. But at the same time, I don't feel like the consultation guides should replace consultation entirely. And the main reason being is, just as an example, in Dorchester, they're creating an accessible playground. And if they had not brought it to the committee, we wouldn't have been able to provide any feedback on the RFP. And specifically, there was a question that came up around fencing. And the consideration was whether or not the fence should go all the way around the playground or just between the parking lot and the playground. And so it's just one example of where the guide may not provide enough input on specific questions like that. So I think the aim of it would be that if we do have the local municipal partners join us, we may not require every single project to come through the committee, but that we would pick ones that we feel actually have implications on the disability community. So that way we make sure that we're actually consulting with the committee and getting the perspective of everybody with regards to the project that they're working on. So I think that's kind of on the horizon at this point in time, but I did want to make everyone aware of that because I have put out the information that the consultation guides are not intended to replace the consultation requirements with the JAC, specifically with outdoor play spaces. And as we know now, the on-street accessible parking, because if they just go by the guide, they don't necessarily know how many spaces they need. And so that's something that we're here to determine. So I did want to make that known to everybody on the committee. If you have any questions about that, just let me know before I move on to the next piece. No, we're all good. Okay, perfect.
Sarah, sorry, can I just ask then? So
Yes, absolutely.
is this, are you looking to involve, I guess, more staff then coming to the committee level to present the projects?
Like more staff in terms of like the role that you play on the committee, like have more people join in
Or
that
whatever
respect?
staff has, like I'm thinking of our development staff, would they be bringing the project to the committee level?
I'm not I think, yeah, I think if we're going to have like any of the local partners, for example, join and they have projects that they're going to be bringing to the committee, then they would present it. Is that
Yes,
what
yeah.
you mean? Yeah, they would
And
bring
I'm
it to the
just,
committee
I'm
then.
just, because in the past, we have had specific staff members, just like we had Aaron, come
Yes.
about the next topic. And that's all I meant is, are we looking at a different process, or would it be the same philosophy that whoever is, I guess, heading the project or whatever department would then present to the committee?
Yes, that would still be the approach. But we would just want to make sure that we're not necessarily requiring them to come for every single project in the event that not every single one requires that high level overview. Only, and I guess the best example of this is there is one of the local partners in Middlesex has 4 parks that they're doing this year, and that's just parks. There's other projects they're working on. And so I can appreciate why it might be, it might cause the process to become more inefficient if we're reviewing everything. I think the focus would be, okay, what ones have obvious accessible or accessibility requirements and things that you may want consultation on versus ones that maybe don't actually need it because they're just really by the book and there's not an obvious thing that they need help like determining or feedback on. I think it's kind of the approach I'm thinking, but of course if it didn't work then we would just have to go like with a different approach and we can address that if in the event that that happens. But yes, I think at this point, it would definitely be the person heading the project that I would ask to come present it. If for whatever reason they're unavailable, then I would just make sure I have all the materials I need and I have a meeting with them beforehand and then I could present it. But generally speaking, it would be the person that is doing the project. Yeah.
And that makes sense, especially knowing that, we typically only meet quarterly too, right? Or every couple of months. So again, projects get on the plate sometimes a lot quicker than that. But yeah, that's good. Then that's perfect.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks for the question. I appreciate it. So that being said, I did want to mention, we talked about this at the last meeting, but Mr. Chair, you were not able to be there at the last meeting. So I wanted to run this by you as well. And then we will do a vote on it just to make sure that everybody's in agreement. So there is a reconstruction project happening at the Hamlet of Richmond. And so Aaron was here to talk about this last time. Essentially, it is reconstruction in the municipality of Bayham, and it's on Heritage Line and Richmond Road. So it's like an intersection. And they're basically going to be replacing storm sewers, private drains, road-based replacement, and put sidewalks in. Currently, there is no on-street parking because it's all residential areas. So as you know, in a residential neighborhood, they wouldn't have designated parking spots. The county basically wants to maintain that approach and they don't want to have to put in any designated parking spots in a residential area. So they just want to confirm with the committee that there is no need for on-street accessible parking spots because it's residential and there are no commercial buildings in that area at this time. Does anybody have any feedback on that?
Sarah, they're putting in, are the sidewalks they're putting in are new? They're not replacing?
There is no parking currently because it's all houses. So they're just going to be redoing like the road and the sidewalk and everything, but they're planning to not put any parking spaces in because there currently is none.
Okay.
They just want to confirm that we agree with that approach and that we don't see a need for on-street accessible parking because there is no designated parking in the area due to it being residential.
And that's our recommendation would need to be in line with the municipal municipal bylaws on that.
Yeah,
Um,
they're going with like all the other requirements. They are making sure that they align
Yeah.
with those. They just wanted to make sure that we don't see a need for on-street accessible parking. And Michelle asked a really good question last time. She said, well, what if there is what if there is commercial buildings put in? And Aaron indicated that they would address that at the time if that ever happened, but currently there isn't. It's just residential. So there's typically no parking in residential areas just because people just park in front of their houses, right? So I think that's the approach they're going with, and they just wanted to have confirmation from the committee that we're okay with their approach and we don't see a need for on-street accessible parking spaces.
So I'm in companion with Michelle's question last meeting. Would I be correct in assuming then that the zoning for this area is all residential? There's no commercial zoning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he indicated that it's all residential and that there's no commercial buildings there at this time.
So commercial would require, yeah, okay.
Yeah, commercial, if it didn't have a parking lot, then would likely require it. So he did indicate, obviously, if that ever changes, then he would bring it back for consultation at that time. But right now there isn't one, so he doesn't see a need for it, just because there wouldn't be anywhere to put it, essentially.
Is there a crosswalk situation involved with this this work?
Pull up. Sorry, 1 second. I just have to pull up the slide. I did have it, and I think I accidentally removed it from this presentation.
Okay.
My apologies. I'm just gonna open this one up.
Because I know they make reference to curbs.
There we go. Can everyone see? Oh, there. This is just a kind of a better view, hopefully. So this is where they're doing the reconstruction. If you can you see the slide with the map on it?
No.
No, not yet.
No? Oh,
No.
okay, hold on. I'm just gonna stop the share and then I'll go back because I think when I switch it, it won't let me. There we go. Can everyone see that now?
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so this is the map. I'm just gonna make it full screen, hopefully. There we go. So yeah, so this is where they're redoing the roads. Basically, they're putting in the like the, what is it called? Storm drains. Let me just go back really quickly. What does it say? Storm sewers, private drain connections, road-based replacement. They're gonna put sidewalks in and curbs and asphalt placement. So yeah, so basically they're just redoing the roads here, is my understanding. And then they're going to put sidewalks in.
From the few times I've been through Richmond, I don't think there's any crosswalks at all of any sort, Doug.
Okay.
If there's no on-street parking today, and they're not planning on putting any on-street parking tomorrow, then
Yeah.
it makes no sense to put in accessibility, just for the reason that we could do it, if it's not there today.
Okay.
I think I might have, did I say, Sarah, last time, that it just goes without saying that they put in proper curb cuts with the sidewalks?
That is what they did put curbs. Yeah, they will be
Yeah.
putting curbs in.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So just to confirm, I think, are we ready to vote on this to confirm that we do not see a need for accessible on-street parking?
Yes, would you like to proceed?
Okay, perfect. I'm not sure, Catherine, if you're willing to call the vote for this one.
We do need a mover and a seconder.
Perfect.
I can move.
Happy to second.
Seconds, Tom. Catherine, vote, please.
Deputy Warden Marks,
Yes.
Michelle Horton,
Yes.
Doug Mayer.
Yes.
3-0, the motion is carried.
Perfect, thank you. I'm just gonna go back to the screen that I had it up. Oh. Okay, perfect. So I will move on to the next point now. The next thing I wanted to bring up is the accessibility policies update. So I am going through the accessibility policies that we currently have in place. I think there are some that Sam had worked on that had not yet been brought to council. So I'm also reviewing those with the County of Elgin and in collaboration with Middlesex County, because we do have the same policies. All policies will be brought to the JAC for review and feedback as well. I know that's a lot of work, so I will probably see if we can maybe split it up a little bit so it's not super overwhelming and we don't have a ton of policies that we have to look through. But the following policies, as you can see on the slide here, are the ones that are being reviewed. I have already gone through the accessibility policy, accommodations in the workplace, and I believe the other one was the emergency workplace response information. So I'm hoping that I can get through all of these within the first quarter of the year, and then we could look to bring some of them in Q2 and Q3 to go through the full process of being reviewed before it gets taken to council for approval for any changes that are recommended. There are some changes that I am recommending, so I will be bringing that to everybody to review. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. And yeah, I think it'll be a worthwhile process though, just to get me more familiarized with the policies that we have, and also because there are some things I think that we could update. And we do have to keep in mind there is consistent updates being made to the IASR. So I'm also keeping an eye out for the changes that may introduce 2 new standards. I believe they're hoping to introduce a healthcare and education standard. So in the event that a healthcare standard is introduced, we will have to adjust our policies again, because it will affect our long-term care homes. So just so everyone's kind of aware, that's the process right now and the timeline for it, but that may once again change if they release the standards. I'm not sure if it'll be this year that they release them though, but I am hoping that they will go through with it, because there's been a lot of work done on it, and I think they're both really important. Despite the fact that I know it will increase compliance requirements and everything, I think that they are necessary. So I will keep everyone updated when I find out more about whether or not the standards are being released, when they'll be released, and how it impacts our policies. Is there any questions on this at the time?
No, thank you. I'm good.
Perfect, okay. And then the last thing is the big item, which is the joint annual accessibility status report. So new this year, we've created a joint one with the County of Elgin and local municipal partners. It is a requirement under the IASR, and it's intended to highlight progress made in regards to the joint multi-year accessibility plan. So it includes continuous achievements in accessibility, as well as highlights in 2021. So I have 2 questions, is if there's other projects that JAC did in 2021 that I've not covered, as well as feedback or comments. So I'm going to pull up the status report, specifically the section I'm looking for feedback on. And then if anyone has any other feedback, please let me know. So let me just switch to that one. Second. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I just have to get it loaded. Perfect. And then I will share my screen again. Okay. All right. Just gonna exit out of that. There we go. Okay, can everybody see the joint annual accessibility status report? Perfect, okay. So if we go down, it does give some objectives and purpose. It outlines compliance reporting and the commitment statement that is in our policies. So I will go down to the section that I wanted to discuss, and then we can always go back if anyone has any questions or input on the rest of the report. I have also, okay, so continuous achievements, just so everyone knows, this is kind of a general overview of things that we are continuously working on. And then below it is really the bulk of it, which is the highlights for 2021. So I have included the Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee reviewed and provided feedback on the following, but I know there's probably some stuff that you looked at the beginning of the year that I may not have been here for at the time. So I did want to confirm based on this list, and I can always make it a little bigger, if anybody can think of anything else that I should be including in here. Point out.
Sarah, I know that there is at least one more thing because of the update to council that we did in December. I had gone back through the minutes and there was some other plan that the group consulted on at their meeting in January 2021, which I also was not at, but
Okay.
the group may remember, but I can pull that for you later if you need.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just put a note in here that there was a plan. And then I'll make sure to get that added in here. So I know we consulted on the multi-year accessibility plan, accessible parking, reconstruction of the hamlet of Richmond. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else specifically in the year of 2021. I can go back through my slides as well and just make sure that there's nothing I'm missing. But in terms of consultation, I think most of the time it was information items as opposed to things that required approval and feedback. So if anyone has anything else they think I need to include, just let me know. I can always send a copy of this again after the meeting and I can add to it after the fact. That's okay too. Did you want me to go to a specific section of this to review, or would it be easier to have you look it over after just in case, but we can still go ahead with approving the report as it is with the expectation that some minor changes may be made between now and when it goes to council? What would be the preference?
My preference would be to approve what we have, and you give us a timeline as to when you need any additional input or comment.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I think my plan is to take it to council in February, so it would be between now and February that I would be looking for additional comments. I can give the exact date once I know which council meeting I will be bringing it to, if that works for everybody. Does that sound good? Yeah, I know it's hard to review these kind of things over an online meeting. I think sometimes this is one of the few things that is easier in person. So I do appreciate everyone's willingness to work together on this, but I know it can be challenging over Zoom. So, okay, if that's the case, then I think we can go ahead and do the approval, and then I will send it out and we can make sure that there's nothing else that I should be adding between now and when I take it to council.
Shall we proceed then, Catherine? We have a motion to,
We need a
I could make the motion.
seconder.
Certainly.
Tom, thank you. Call for the vote.
Deputy Warden Marks,
Yes.
Michelle Horton,
Yes.
Doug Mayer,
Yes.
3-0, the motion is carried.
Perfect, okay. So I will send this out to everyone after the meeting, and I will give you a timeline once I have it when I need it by. But yeah, that sounds good with me. And I think that is it. I will just go back to the presentation one more time to make sure. Oh, yes. Okay. So that's actually it. The next slide is just a tentative date for the next meeting. The tentative date that I have in there is April 6th, 2022. but I don't know if we want to determine whether or not that would work for everyone now and then decide later if we need to change the date. I tried to keep it before the Easter long weekend, like early enough that we won't have any interference with that, hopefully. So does April 6th work for everybody? 10 to 12, I think, is probably what we would do again.
April 6th.
April 6th, yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah, so far so good for me.
Okay, perfect. Deputy Mayor Marks, does that work for you?
I believe so. What time in the morning?
Sorry?
In the morning?
Yeah, 10 to noon again, I think is the plan, if that's good.
Looks good.
Okay. Diane, does that seem good for you? And Catherine and Jenna, does that seem okay? Yeah, okay, perfect. So we can tentatively set that meeting for now, and then if we need to make any changes, we can. I think that's everything from me, so yeah.
Wow, what a busload of information. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Very much. Other questions? Any other input? Any comments? Anybody? Tom, Michelle? Anything
I'm
further?
good.
Diane, Catherine? Anything you care to share? If not, call for the meeting to be adjourned. Well, I'll chat again on if not before, April the 6th, am I seeing?
Okay.
That's
Move
great.
adjournment.
Thank you.
Call
Thank
for Tom, seconder, Michelle. We are, quick vote, Catherine, please. Do we need a vote on adjournment?
Deputy Warden Mark.
Yes.
Yes, we can vote on adjournment. Michelle Horton,
Yes.
Doug Mayer,
Yes,
3-0, the motion is carried.
meeting's adjourned.
Very
Finish
good. Thanks,
twice.
everyone.